Welcome to the Fit as a Mama Bear podcast. I'm Shelby, a certified strength coach, nutrition coach, mama to two, and all around health nut. This show is about a little bit of everything healthy, fit, and natural related. So if you're striving to smash goals, eat better, feel better, and enjoy the occasional mom rant, this is the place for you. For most of us, being stuck inside sucks. Everything about quarantine life is beginning to just eat at us. The chaos with kids, the boredom without them, the lack of routine and social stimulation, everything we're missing. And then there's the food. Being at home is a whole new weight loss struggle. You find yourself eating all the snacks in sight just because they're there. And there's no reason not to drink. I mean, where in the world do you have to go? At the end of the day, after a long Netflix binge, you wonder what in the hell has happened to the world, to you, to your days. Sound familiar? Well, I say that we need to get ourselves out of this funk and maybe out of the pajamas. Well, at least the same pajamas as last week. I don't think that now is the time for any major diet or restriction, but I do think that now is the time for focus, for trial and error, and for a bit of mental clarity. So join me today as I chat solo about the biggest things you can do for your health while in quarantine. I'm going to tell you from 10 years of experience how to avoid snacking when stuck at home and give you my best tips for staying healthy with minimal effort. So let's dive in. Stepping in before we get started, what you put on your body is just as important as what you put in it. And Primally Pure is definitely my top choice for non-toxic, chemical-free skincare. While I do love to make a lot of my own products, I will be honest in the fact that sometimes there just is not enough time in the day. And for other products like deodorant, I learned that purchasing is simply easier. Primally Pure offers quality, all-natural skincare products with ingredients I can actually pronounce and purchase. The Blue Tansy face cream and charcoal deodorant have totally won me over for life. For 10% off your Primally Pure order, go to fitasmamabear.com/primally-pure. Hello, everyone. Okay, so I hope everyone is staying sane while tucked in at home. If you've got kiddos, I really stress the sane part. I know for us personally, it's a running joke in our house that I was made for quarantine life. And it is just because I've worked at home for the last 10 years. I really hate running errands. I'm an introvert, so it kind of works for me. So my hubby laughs that I actually haven't left our neighborhood or been in a car in 4 weeks, and I'm okay with it. So everyone else is going crazy, and I've kind of got my jam down. Now, the reason why is for the last 10 years, I have worked at home. So I run a personal training business as well as the Fit as a Mama Bear blog, and both jobs are done from home. So I remember when I first started my business and everyone kind of commented about how I was going to be climbing the walls after a while. But the truth is, I wasn't. I love working from home. I switch rooms if I have to. I can go outside when I want. I can walk the dog when I want. I seriously love it. But that doesn't mean that it didn't come with its fair share of struggles kind of in the beginning. And one of those things is snacking. So I have always been a snacker. I am still a very big snacker. I love to graze. And while it is not awesome protocol for weight loss or for health, it's just what I do. Now, working from home and just being stuck at home now, you've probably become a snacker. Let's be honest. It is super, super easy to just walk by the fridge and grab whatever you see. We've been baking a lot more just because we're home, so getting the kids in the kitchen, which means we have berry crumble and oatmeal cookies and all these things just kind of hanging about, and it's really easy to shove them in your face. Unfortunately, snacking is not the best case scenario for either weight loss, maintenance, or just from a health perspective. If we're binge eating pretzels every night watching Tiger King, eventually that's going to catch up to us. So how do you get out of the snack habit? Because it's really hard. Now, there's a lot of things you can do, and I wish I had better advice, to be perfectly honest. I wish there was like a magical cure-all situation, but there never is. When it comes to snacking, there's a lot of different ways to think about it. So the first is you are not lacking in self-discipline just because you are snacking. We are stuck in crazy circumstances. Everything is honestly just batcrap insane, and we are in very different times. However, you do have to make an effort when it comes to curbing your snack habits and your eating in general. So no goal is without its effort requirement. You do need to focus on it. You need to work hard at it. And even now, like I said, been working from home for 10 years, and I still have to genuinely think about things. So first and foremost, make better snacks. So stop just munching on mindless processed food. If you're going to snack, at least have healthier snacks available so you're getting some kind of nutrient reward. Okay, so that is step one, is the Doritos and cheesies and whatever else people normally snack on. They're pointless and they're harming your gut health. Okay, and if ever there was a time to boost your gut health, it is now. So cut back on the processed foods and find better snack options. I don't think that anyone should be following an overly strict diet right now or rocking a lot of calorie restrictions. You're setting yourself up for failure. You are stuck in the house literally all of the time. We are in very different circumstances than a normal environment, and I think that's just placing way too much pressure on yourself. But I also understand wanting to get your stuff under control, feel better, have more energy, and just kind of get out of the funk that we've all fallen into. So the first thing is to have better snacks. The second is to recognize the habit, okay? So this is a bit of a psychological, behavioral mindset swap, but a lot of the time we don't even realize that we're snacking. It's just that we walked by the fridge, we opened it, shoved something in our mouth, or there's an open bag of something sitting on the counter, we're just mindlessly eating. So a few things you can do is recognize the habit and then try and replace it. So sip on some water, go for a walk, dance all of a sudden, like find something to distract yourself with so you get out of that mindset. It is super easy to just fall into the snacking habit, but you need to learn to recognize it. The way that I counter it, and I've been doing this for a long time now, I think, is with intermittent fasting. So if you have never tried intermittent fasting, hit up, I can't remember what episode it is. I will drop it in the resources on the podcast page, but hit up my podcast on intermittent fasting. It's about weight loss, but intermittent fasting also has a lot of health benefits. And the reason why I'm recommending it is because fasting is at bare minimum a way to control calories, okay? So if you do a 12 or 16-hour fast, you're normally cutting out a lot of morning food. And even if you are snacking a little bit more during the rest of the day, at least you will have cut some bulk calories to keep things under control. On top of that, intermittent fasting just helps with mental clarity, it helps with energy, it helps you understand hunger cues a lot more. And yeah, the first few are not comfortable. You do have to kind of give it a few weeks to get yourself into enjoying it, but it can make a huge difference. I personally fast every single night. Normally my normal schedule is every single night I'll do about 13 hours, and then once a week I'll go for a longer one at 16. I'm finding with quarantine, and so it's funny because my schedule hasn't changed in the sense that I'm home, but it has changed because everyone is home with me. I am a crazy schedule person, so that's kind of what I thrive on. But with everyone home, my husband's making meals and we're doing a lot more baking. There's snacks everywhere. I've found that I'm just not as hungry if I'm using intermittent fasting. So I've been going for longer fasts, like 16 to 18, and I find that's helping a lot to kind of keep things under control. So tip number one would be to recognize the habit and try and change it. And tip number two would be to give intermittent fasting a try. Okay, so again, there's a lot of ways to fast, but all of them are going to be beneficial, and it just helps you understand your hunger a little bit more. I've been using it for, I want to say, around 10 years, and I absolutely love it. So let's talk about alcohol. Okay, you literally have nowhere to go, and nothing to do. And if you don't have kids and you're listening into this, why would you not drink? Even now, I'm finding it really difficult as the weather gets nicer. We got nothing to do. It's easy to just kind of hang out outside and have a couple of drinks. But, and yes, there is a big but coming, I also think about it from a health perspective. So the hardest habit I ever had to break was drinking every day. Worse than quitting smoking, worse than getting into an exercise routine, worse than anything. I was a big drinker. I had 2 to 3 drinks every single day, and that was the hardest thing to break. There were tears, there was anger, there was twitchiness, okay? I don't want to get back to that. So that's kind of my motivation in not drinking every day. I've got it down to a schedule now where I normally, in the real world, have a drink or two on Fridays and Saturdays, and I don't drink through the week. It keeps me more focused. It keeps my mind a little bit more sharp and me a little bit less sluggish. So stop drinking every day. It sounds terrible and it's a really hard habit to break, but let's go over the downsides of having a few drinks every day. So you are going to be less focused. You are going to be lazier because you're just not feeling optimal. Your energy is a little bit lower, and drinking is going to make you snack. Okay? So it's very, very difficult when you have nowhere to go, nothing to do, to kind of curb that drinking feeling, but it's also going to make a huge impact on your health. Now, I'm not saying don't pick up a cooler every couple of days or whenever you prefer to drink. But I am saying that multiple drinks every single day are going to add up to both your waistline as well as your health and your immune system. Okay, alcohol is an immune system suppressant. So a very, very difficult habit to break, but a very, very crucial one. Now, with everyone home, normally I would like to drink only twice a week, and I have been drinking a little bit more. One day a week, I'll have one more drink. So I don't think that there's a perfect solution, but I do think that making it a priority and a focus makes a really big bang for your buck. If you are stuck at home, drinking just makes everything better for a little bit, but it doesn't help long term, and it doesn't help your next day. Which brings me to have a purpose and a focus. So the reason that I've been able to weather quarantine really, really easily is because I've worked from home and I have a schedule. I thrive off of freaking schedules. Like I absolutely need them in my life. And the first week that we had quarantine, we did nothing. Everyone watched TV and we binged a bunch of movies. Frozen 2, we've seen like 23 times now. But I went crazy. It's just not fun. My girls don't thrive. So I made us a schedule. Well, it's not overly rigid. It is a schedule and we do stick to it. And the reason why I like that is because the schedule forces you to get dressed in the morning. It gives you something to get dressed for. It forces you to want to use your mind. Okay, if you have a purpose, if you decide to learn a new hobby or learn anything, it gives you something to wake up for. That in turn makes it so that you don't want to drink all the time, because then you're not going to be able to focus on whatever you're learning. Or for me, I've used this time to really, really focus on growing my blog, which I'm super excited about. I'm loving being able to have so much time to work on the blog and really make it a full-time gig. But so I'm not going to drink until midnight, because then I can't get up in the morning and work because my focus is all out of sorts. Okay, so if you have something to prioritize, whether that is fitness or a new hobby or something you're going to learn over the next few weeks, that's going to help develop a routine, get you out of bed, cut back on booze, because all of those things are factors in just pushing everything away. Being lazy is really easy, and I'm not saying that it's not fun. We have totally been lazier in quarantine, but habit-wise, you've been given extra time. You might as well make use of it, okay? Which brings me to move your body. So we think that it is awesome that we just get to be lazy for a little while. We don't have to work, we don't have to drive anywhere, we don't have to do anything. But our bodies were made to move. So the number one complaint that I get as a personal trainer is that we don't have time to exercise. We are busy with kids and jobs and work and travel schedules, and it's just insane. That has now been taken away. Literally, the biggest obstacle that everyone comes to me with has been removed, and yet no one is using it. I'm not saying that you need to get jacked and work out 3 hours a day. I am saying that now is the time to find a style of exercise that you actually enjoy so you'll stick to, or try new workouts, try working out at different times of the day. Just use your time. On top of that, I think that you should just generally be moving your body. All right, so that means every hour, get up for 10 minutes and take a walk, or do something silly, or dance with your kids, or play tag. Don't just binge out in front of the TV all day. By all means, binge out in the evenings or at some point in time, watch your favorite shows, but do something for your body. Don't just let it seize up. The old saying of if you don't use it, you'll lose it is very, very true. You need to use your muscles in your body. And again, you have been given a gift in the sense of time, so make use of it. All right, move your body. It makes the day better. It makes it go by faster. It gives you something to kind of strive for if you do silly challenges or want to learn a new movement. Find something that you really, really enjoy. And even if it's just for a couple of minutes, at least you are moving. We've been going for a lot more nature walks, which is awesome. My girls love the forest, and it just makes you feel good. Now, I did touch upon routine. I personally am routine oriented. I know a lot of people aren't, but I think that having a purpose of something to do, just one thing every single day, helps. So whether that is organize a drawer or learn a new skill or watch a cool video on a how-to, at least it kind of gets you up and moving, because otherwise, yeah, it's really easy to stay in bed all day. But the way that I've been able to run 2 businesses from home is not by slacking off to watch Netflix in the middle of the day. It's because I have a schedule and I stick to it. All right, so some self-discipline, some mental push is going to be a little bit necessary. Get outside. So how do you survive quarantine? You get outside in your backyard, on your deck, wherever you can that is obviously not with other people. Getting outside, breathing fresh air, all of those things are really good for you. They are mood boosters. They just perk you up. They energize you. They get you moving. You need to get outside. The longer that you stay inside completely, the less reason you have to do anything, to be perfectly honest. It's very, very difficult. So get outside, move your body, enjoy the fresh air. And lastly, I want you to find a way to be calm and learn to manage stress. So again, we have been given the gift of time. You now have time to figure your out. And by that, I mean, I'm never going to be really great at meditation. It's not where I thrive, but I have found ways to de-stress when I need to. So obviously lifting and running are those things for me. Getting outside in silence works really well for me. And just taking deep breaths and focusing works really well for me. But you have been given time to figure this out. If ever there was a time that you need to learn to manage all the things around you and take away the stress, it is now. So figure out what works for you. If that is yoga, if that's sitting in silence and letting your mind play out its thoughts, if that's getting outside and sitting underneath a tree for a few minutes, figure that out. But you need to find a way to manage stress. One of the biggest things that hits our health is that we are anxiety ridden. We are always go, 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 and we are always stressed about work and about money and about lack of time and mom guilt and all of those things. So many of those things have been taken away right now, which means that a lot of stressors have been taken away. So find a way to center yourself, reduce your anxiety, and bring that with you when all of this eases up a little bit. All right, so it's not easy. It is chaotic and scary, and we are stuck in a world that is very, very new to us. But I stand by the fact that we have been given one big gift, and that is time. And how you use it is up to you. So I want my girls to look back on quarantine and think it was really, really fun. I don't want them to know about that it was a crazy pandemic. I want them to think, hey, this was a time when I got to spend 5-6 weeks straight with my parents where I had their undivided attention. For me, I've been given extra time to work, which is amazing. I always want to grow the blog. It's a lot of fun, and I finally have time to sit down and get the thoughts out of my head. I'm not going to waste that. For you, you might not have those things, and that's fine, but find something to spend your time on. Bettering yourself, read a book, organize a drawer, make a list of things that you want to accomplish, and write out the steps as to how to do that. Just use your time wisely. It's rare that we get a chance like this, and while I'm not going to say that quarantine life has been easy, it is chaotic with kids and entertaining and feeling guilty for just wanting to lay there for 10 minutes, which is fine. But make use of what you have been given. Okay, so that about wraps it up for today. I truly wish you all a happy, healthy quarantine. And if there's one thing that I hope you took from today's episode, it's that big changes happen from small habits. You've never had more time than you have right now to find a habit that suits you. So take control, dive in, and get started.